Welcome to our Rise Small seminar. Today is last presentation this year, and we have today's presenter is nice guy. ということで、すみません、サイフル・アルフィンさんということで経済学研究科の博士前期課程の方です。で、今日はですね、環境などに配慮した投資ファンドの収益性が悪化していると言われているけれども、実はそれが最近好転しているというような報告があるようです。で、そんな中で、今後どういうふうに、これがなっていくのか、収益性がこのまま好転していくのかどうか、そういうような研究をされているということになりまして、今日はその研究発表の中の事例を一つ紹介いただくといったようなことでありますので、皆さん楽しんで聞いていただけたらと思います。では、よろしくお願いします。Please.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Dear friends, welcome all of you to this presentation. So I hope you will give me courage to present because this is first time ever, like to such a lovely audience and so much audience here. I hope I will get some courage from you to present my topic here. First, I would like to introduce myself. I am Saiful Arefeen. You can call me Arefeen. I am from Bangladesh. Actually, I am working in the Central Bank of Bangladesh as a joint director. I am working there in the statistics department. Do you hear me? In the left, Shumanta? Is it okay? Okay, thank you. So I am working in the statistics department. My background also statistics, but here I am a student of MPED M2, that is Master's Program in Economic Development, graduate student. So today I'm going to present about the very recent topic about socially responsible investment fund. So I'm working here under the Professor Koji Simada, who is an environmental specialist, and also my sub-supervisor is Professor Kei Sakata. He is econometrics specialist. I hope you will enjoy this presentation for the next 20 minutes. First, I would like to share some brief idea about today's presentation. Here, the introduction part, I will give as I understand. So a student from undergraduate student here. So maybe some come from science background, not all from economics. So I'll try to give some definition of this presentation related to my presentation. And then the historical, very brief history about how SRI comes in this moment. And then I'll try to focus about some motivations. Why investors are looking for investment under the umbrella of social responsibility. And also, what is the current topics that usually scientists or scholars are working on it. I'll little bit to discuss about it. Actually, I'm a very initial stage of my research because last 1 month or 1.5 months I'm working on this topic. So at this moment I cannot show you the details result. What I'm focusing here is to give the idea about the literature review of these issues. I hope you will enjoy. And in the literature part, I will show how many literature is last 20 or 30 years is going on, and actually what about their results, in which area actually focuses this research, and then some data and methodology issue, how actually the scientists are examining the performance of the social responsible fund or any conventional fund like this, and some challenges at last I will show here. So let's go first about introduction. What is SRI? What is socially responsible investment? Actually, socially responsible and investment. When I am going to invest, that is my intention is to get the profit, to get the return, right? But why it comes from the social responsibility? I will invest 1,000 yen and I will get back 10% of the 1,000 yen. That's fine. But no, we also have to think about the social responsibility, why it comes. So social responsibility means the one company's nature of business That is, they will not invest in such an investment which will harmful for the society, like gambling, like tobacco, nuclear power. We see the destruction of this nuclear power, and so many issues in the right now, right? And also, in broader aspect, we will also think about the social justice. We will also about the environmental sustainability, and we will look for the alternative energy or clean technology. This investment can be made by individual companies or through a socially conscious mutual fund or exchange traded fund. So what is mutual fund? Here we are like 100 of students. Sony Corporation declaring some shares for his company. So everybody, we are taking one share by per 1,000 yen. That is, we are part of the Sony. We have a share of 1,000, right? So they have a plan to invest maybe development or some special new projects. So by accumulating all of this fund, they are investing in new project. That means this fund we call collectively is a mutual fund. But there are some other natures of mutual fund. I'll not go for the details. And what is exchange traded fund? This is also similar to the stock exchange. Do you know I think some of you have experience to trade in the stock exchange. How many stock exchange in Japan? Only Tokyo Stock Exchange, I know. And any other? Stock exchange, where people can trade their shares in share market, share market business. So exchange traded fund is like kind of share business. Like every day in share market, the investor, what they are doing, they are looking for the prices of the enterprise's share, and they can sell or buy, and by using sell and buy, they can get profit or maybe they lose it. So exchange traded fund is also like that. This is a kind of share. So in that way also people can invest. Let's go about some investment types. Actually, there are 3 types of investments. Ownership investment, which actually reflects the stocks that I told you, or businesses and real estate, etc. And also the lending investment. Here I bold here, you see the focus is bond. I hope you have some idea about the bond. Bond is like government has initiative to invest in big infrastructure of the country. Like in Japan, they need one special project, but government do not have enough money to invest there. So how can they collect the money? Either they can borrow, right, from internal or outside the country. So maybe they can issue one paper which shows like the denomination for 100,000 of yen, 100,000 yen. So as a citizen, I can borrow it. So what I will get the return? Every year for that amount, government will give me the 10% interest. So this paper, what I receive from the government, this is bond. Usually bond operates for the longer term, like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like this. So some company also can issue bond for the new projects. Right? This is the way that the company can also issue the bond. And that means what? Government lending money from the people and then investing in infrastructure, right? So this is a lending investment. And another type is cash equivalent investment. This is more or less we are going for bank and we give some money to the bank and they will give us like 10 or 15% or 5%, I don't know, it's country to country it varies. So if they give the specific fixed amount, that is the cash equivalent investment. So there are 3 types of investment usually we see in the financial market. Let's talk about the history of socially responsible investment fund. From the human history, if we see, the Christian society usually follow Bible, Muslim society usually follow Quran. In Bible, also what they are telling them, some people donate money to this church, and church what they will do with this money, they will invest somewhere. So they usually look for the investment which is ethical. ethical business. That is not the unethical business. It started about the 17th century. And also Muslim community, they also prefer investment like this. They will invest somewhere, but they do not want to fix the interest rate. So how the investment could be? They will invest, but they will not get the fixed amount, like 10%. How Islamic banking or Islamic investment going on? Actually, the main concept of this here is ethical issues, like we will share the both profit and loss. I'm investor, and you guys are taking my investment, so you will do business to my money, then it may be losing concern or profitable. If losing concern, then you have to pay, in conventional way, you have to pay the 10% interest. But in Islamic mode, they are telling that no, we will share your loss also. If you lose it, then I will take the responsibility. But in conventional way, they don't want to take the responsibility of losing concern. So it's a profit and share loss. So this is also the one kind of ethics. Like I'm thinking about the person who is like operating this money. He is also the risk. So in that way, the ethical terms comes in the investments. In early 80s in UK Parliament, basically in developed country, we see that there are a huge fund of pension and insurance. Pension fund usually very big amount. So the government has a restrictions on to invest where they will invest this pension fund or where they will invest this insurance fund. So the common consensus is not to invest in unethical business that will harm the society. So there are some rules and procedures. In UK around 80s, UK Parliament said that we don't want to call it the ethical investment. Rather, we can call it social responsible investment. Why? Because if we call this is the ethical investment, that is all other investment is unethical. Is it true? So it's a big question. That's why they changed the name. So we will not call it the ethical investment. We will call it the socially responsible investment. Actually, that's what come. But recently, when environment issue come forward with the global issues, like global leaders also thinking about the environment issues. Now, this actually SRI investment is more popular nowadays, around last 30 years. Some only it actually takes into consideration in developed countries, but in developing countries, actually they are fighting for other issues. So still they are not thinking much about it. So around 70s, US has started this operation rigorously, then it's spread in Europe and other countries. In Japan, they also started in around 1999. Yeah, around 99. So here is initially the thinking about the investment was restricting in three issues, three triangles. This triangle is liquidity. Liquidity means cash, and then risk, and also return. When I am going to invest, that means I have to consider the risk as well. Then based on the risk, then I can get the return. But nowadays, this actually goes to the four magical square. That is, one issue is here, sustainability. Actually, nowadays, we listen about the sustainable development, sustainable growth, sustainable investment. What does it mean, the sustainability? Sustainability means I am doing something for this generation, conditioning that it will not hamper for the future generation. Let's say example for Toyota. This is the world leading car producing company. They are producing some car, so we can purchase the car and we can get benefited. We are enjoying the benefit. The question is, when this car is running in the street, they are reducing carbon dioxide gas, and it absorbs in the atmosphere, and it is actually leading to the global warming. This global warming leads to the sea level rise. Sea level rise means there is a flood, cyclone, and so many natural disasters. So if you look, so this investment is actually, we are benefiting from this curve, as well as this harms for the future generation, because future generation affected by floods and so on. So is it okay? Is it socially responsible investment? What do you think? So this investment is not the sustainable investment. Actually, for example, I told you, but I have a very good chance to visit Toyota. We see that they are actually producing now eco-friendly car, which is very environment friendly and environmentally viable. Okay. So this sustainability actually is very important. That's why now all investments actually going from the conventional to the SRI business because of these issues, sustainability issues. Now talk about the motivation. I think you already get the sense that why SRI actually investors are going forward, because due to the sustainability issues and also the first motivation is the grassroots pressure. What is grassroots pressure? Means as a consumer, when I go to the CU for my daily products, I usually look for the eco-friendly products. That is why the consumers, we are actually preferring the eco-friendly. So we don't want to happen the bad thing for the future generation. So every time we are choosing the products that is environment friendly or eco-friendly or socially viable, like this. So this is the motivation for the investors to go from the conventional to the SRI business. And one of the study, Lewis and McKinsey in 2000, they performed a study about the motivation of investors. Here you see the graphs, bar chart, to wish to avoid. Some investors, 84% investors wish to avoid harmful companies. That's why they are going for the SRI business. And 73% enterprises, they aim to support companies with a positive impact on society. And also around 70%, they want their investment to be ethically clean. So this is the motivation for the investors to go forward for the SRI business. And also some other issues for the SRI screening. SRI screening means there are so many investors in this world, so how we can measure one investor whether it is socially responsible or not. So there is some body, there is some regulatory framework, they actually set some characteristics. Based on the characteristics, they are telling that, okay, this business is socially responsible and this business is not socially responsible, not responsible. They are considering the environmental issue, they are considering about the social justice, they are considering about other issues as well, right? And also the SRI index. What SRI index? Usually the investors or the enterprises enlisted in the stock market, right? So based on the stock market, based on the company's financial performance, actually their share price is ups and downs. So that is in nowadays, most of the economy actually they are trying to getting the index of SRI index. That is, they set some characteristics of different companies. Based on the company's scoring, they're actually telling that, okay, this company has a higher index. That means if we see that as a consumer, this company is a higher index, that means their profitability may be maximized, or sometimes they are doing good for the society, so I can pick their product, their profitability go highs, and in this way share prices increases, right? So this is also the concern for the investors to go for the SRI motivations. Now I'm talking about the current implementation. In currently, what topics actually, what the issues that people are studying about the SRI industry? The main question here is, you see, the financial issues and non-financial issues. When I'm investing something, I'm getting return, that is, it is financial issues, but it also it has impact on other non-financial issues, that is the social impact, right? So this is actually the main thing, and there are so many study based on this SRI. These are negative screening, shareholder activism, and community development, like this. And Domini in 1992, he poses 3 different ways of social investing: guideline of portfolio investment, shareholder activism, and community development, right? Now I can show you the little bit scenario of SRI, actually how in this world SRI business. You see in the first graph, sorry, this is for number of SRI funds and total net assets. This is sharply increasing, right? But if you see the conventional fund is increasing but not like this. So that is most of the investors are looking for the SRI business in Japan as well. This is the statistics from 2002 to 2010. Some of the guys in Kobe University, they are doing research. I'll tell about this research later. So my objectives of this research is to assess and compare the financial performance of both SRI fund and conventional funds, taking evidence from developed countries. In particular, I will examine whether financial performance of SRI is profitable or not. So now, 10 minutes? Okay. So I'm talking about some literature review. Last 30 or 40 years, around 100 of articles based on this SRI published in different journals. And in 2009, I see that 2/3 of the SRI business mostly focused on the performance measurement of the SRI investment. And besides this, there are some issues the scholars are working on, like stakeholder, corporate governance, sustainable, human rights, etc. In this graph, you see the performance of SRI. There is a study of 35 articles. Actually, they more or less, they are working on more issues, but they have some issues on the performance. We see that they compare, here SR means socially responsible and C means conventional. So conventional fund and socially responsible fund. So they compare both funds, which fund is working better in the financial market. Out of 35 studies, we see that, out of 35 studies, we see that SRI fund perform better. In case of 14 articles, they are telling that based on their analysis, they are telling that SRI performance is better than conventional fund. But 15 studies showed that there is nothing difference of performance between SRI and conventional. And some cases, SRI business underperform compared to conventional fund. This is the regional distribution. As I told earlier, like most of the developed countries actually has started working on these issues. So it started from US. So most of the article published in US, that is around out of 53 studies, we see that 34 studies. So most is based on the actually US, and also some comparison with the US. This is natural, right? Because they have started this operation, so they have some data. So it's better to study based on their data. But now it's spread in other worlds as well. Now I'll talk about the two specific journal articles and to see briefly about their results. First one I took from Japan. Can SRI funds better resist global financial crisis? Actually, during financial crisis, which fund is performing better? So this is the study in 2015. It's discussion papers. They took one event during the global financial crisis in 2007. They took the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. So how it affected in the stock market? Because in Tokyo Stock Exchange market, both funds are available, like the conventional fund and also the social responsible investment fund. So which company during this financial crisis performing better? So for this study, they took around 2,000 conventional fund, 4,000 conventional fund and around 2,000 SRI fund. And then they compare by using some financial modeling, which is performing better. The result shows that SRI significantly increased the performance, SRI performing better, and that was significant at 5% level compared to the conventional fund. And also compared, and in the same negative story was there, like the conventional fund significantly negative effect during this crisis. Next, I choose other paper which is from based on the French study, and the performance of SRI. Does the screening process matter? I told about the screening. What about the screening? The screening means some characteristics which are to be considered for the SRI or not, right? So they are actually this screening process. If screening process, like there are so many characteristics, there are so many obligations to be the SRI, then what about their performance? It would be there. It would affect their financial performance or not. They are telling that greater screening intensity, that means the number of screening, if it increases, then slightly reduces the financial performance. And opposite direction, when screening gets tougher, we can better see this graph. Here there is a comparison between US and French. This is risk adjusted performance, that is the return of the companies, and this is the number of screens. Initially it is high, but until one moment, then it decreases the financial performance. Right now, if the increases of the number of screens, that is financial performance is decreasing, but after that it increasing. And in US also same, initially it's decreasing until like there are now 6 number of characteristics to be socially responsible fund, and then the restriction is higher, but their financial performance goes up. It may be initially the company suffering to compliance the characteristics, like the company should be operating on environment friendly, it should be socially viable, it could not harm others like this. But when the number of screen increases, then there are some issues comes, like they are strong and it has a good message to the consumer, so that they are actually purchasing this product, and as a result their stock prices will be high, then their profitability actually is high. So maybe this is the reason, or maybe some other reasons as well, I don't know, but something I got from the paper is like that. Next, I'm talking about some data issues, data and methods. Okay, maybe within 3-4 minutes I'll finish my presentation because time is already running. So there are some methods they are using the articles, the regression. Usually we know regression is a very simple. It shows the causality effect. Actually, what factors are responsible for the performance of the fund. So most of the study you see 49 out of 53 days use to identify the causality, they use the regression analysis. But in the financial performance analysis, they are using capital asset pricing model, that is called CAPM. This actually describes 2 issues: risk, the relationship between risk and the expected return of the company, and some other econometric model, financial models like Fama-French 3-factor model and Kahat 4-factor model. I don't think so I should elaborate this one. And also some studies, they use the event study that I told in the Japan's case study paper. They actually use this event study. Event study is kind of bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, how they affected the share price in the stock exchange. This is the event study they have conducted in their articles. This is my last slide of today's presentation. What about the challenges to work on socially responsible investment fund? First one is the methodological approach. So most of the study they have conducted which fund is SRI. They usually use the dummy variables. Dummy variables reflects only two issues, either yes or no, right? But when we see that only getting the yes no, it actually neglects some heterogeneity within this SRI performance. Because within SRI investment funds, there are some varieties. So if we only look for the yes no person, maybe we can neglect some effects of SRIs. So that is the methodological aspect is challenge to assess the performance of SRIs or conventional funds. And second one is the lack of regulatory framework. As this issue is not very much widely popular in most of the countries, that is why the regulatory framework is not strong. Like in Japan Investment Association, they actually segregate which fund is socially responsible or not. So some countries is facing the regulatory deficiencies. And also for that reason, usually we go for investment for where? Usually bank and financial institutes. So bank and financial institutes is giving more time to assess the company's issues. So it takes more time. So that is the hindrance for the growth of SRI business. And also the retail segment actually underdeveloped. So these are the challenges still they are facing the SRI business, SRI industry. That concludes my presentation here. Thank you so much for your kind attention. These are the references. Sorry, these are the references that I used for this study because, as I told you, this is my initial topic and most of the literature is based. Thanks to Research Office and the participants of this meeting. Thank you.